Welcome to our virtual event. I'm here to talk about employees, employee advocacy, how to empower your employees so they'll power your brand. My name is Ted Rubin. I'm at Ted Rubin on Twitter. You can find me on any social platform. Just Google Ted Rubin. I'm everybody you'll find on the first few pages other than the Medal of Award winner from World War II who's 97 years old. That's not me. So I got my start in digital working with Seth Godin back in 1997 and 1998 at his company Yoyodyne, which was the first online direct marketing company. And that's where a lot of my thinking about employees, about return on relationship, about the importance of valuing people you're talking to and valuing the people you're working with started. And I was fortunate. I was married and living in Florida at the time. I moved up to New York to work with Seth and left my family behind and made the critical mistake of moving in with my in-laws. Guys, listen, everybody out there, don't ever move in with your in-laws, especially if they're the Costanzas. If they're like the Costanzas, you don't want to wake up to that crazy shouting. So what I did was I got out of the house every morning by 6 a.m. before anybody woke up. And, you know, for me, everything happens for a reason. And what happened for me was I was fortunate that Seth Godin's an early riser. He'd be wandering around the Yoyodyne offices, and I got to hear his original thinking when he coined the term permission marketing, when he wrote the article for Fast Company, before he wrote his best-selling book, when he talked about the way ideas spread and viruses spread. We shared a lot with each other about what's so important in a company, how do you make it special. So what I like to talk about is the fact that there is a message to businesses that's out there right now, that you've got to change your outlook to change your future. It's critical. Things are changing. And what happens is, and this happens in industries all the time, it happens with innovation, it happens with change. People say, but everything's fine. Our numbers are good, we're increasing our sales, things are happening. But if you don't start making the changes now, you're going to regret it for the future. Because when the time comes, when you need, whether it's followers on social or employees supporting your company, or whatever it is that you think is necessary, if you haven't started building that flow, those people, that discussion, then you're going to have to start from scratch when the time comes. And right now, it's happening. People are sharing content. People want to be connected to a company, whether they work for that company or they buy from that company. I like to say that brands are from Mars, and consumers and employees are from Venus. And brands have to start changing the way they communicate. It's vital because it's like anything else in a conversation. You think you're saying something one way, you're thinking audience is hearing it, but they're hearing it a different way. And employees desperately want to support their brand. People love talking about the companies they work in, and they want to be happy there. They don't want to complain. They don't want to have something bad to say. But what I like to say is do for others without expectation of anything directly in return. So if you start setting up these programs, if you start talking to employees about supporting their company without doing for them first, and doing for them doesn't mean paying their salary, it doesn't mean giving them health insurance. It means expanding their reach, making them better after they join the company than when they started the company. It means helping them build their influence. I mean, I hear of so many companies that are blocking employees from social channels. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Because employees are going to get on those social channels anyway. Have you guys ever heard of smartphones? I mean, if you check the statistics, you'll find out that there are more smoking breaks being taken in this country now than there were 3 years ago. Do you actually believe more people are smoking? Of course they're not. They're taking smartphone breaks. And if they're not taking smartphone breaks, they're doing it under their desk and they're looking down like this instead of doing what they want to do. Everybody can waste time if they want to waste time. I graduated college in 1980. I went to work in a brokerage firm in New York City. You don't think I learned how to waste time then when I wanted to? We all can figure those things out. They're not going to waste time on social. What they're going to do is they're going to be connected to the conversation that's going on in the world, to the conversation that's going on with their friends, to the conversation that's going on with other employees, and they're going to know what's happening. And again, if they want to waste time, they can. So here's what I say. Not only allow them access, encourage their access. Help them build their influence. Bring in speakers, bring in trainers. Take your employees and make them better than when they joined you. Teach them how to use Twitter properly, how to use Instagram, how to syndicate, how to build their brand. Let's talk about this. Let's think about this real basically. If you have 10,000 employees and your average employee has 100 followers on social channels, that's a certain amount of reach. Well, what about if every one of those employees had 1,000 followers on social channels or 10,000 followers? What if a certain percentage of your employees, 1%, 5%, a 0.5%, became known as influencers? People are anxious to hear what they have to say and what they have to share. Imagine the expanded reach of your company. Let's talk about this in the simplest form. You're a marketer. right? You don't like change. You're worried about new KPIs. You don't know how to figure that out. What do? You measure by impressions. You buy magazine ads, you buy television, you buy banners on websites. You get tweets out there and you measure the amount of times that your message is getting out there. Well, take all your employees, multiply it by the amount of people they have following them, and have them start sharing and talking about your company. It's remarkable. Now, here's the 2 reasons most employees don't share content and don't build their influence. Number 1, they're afraid. They're frightened. They're going to share something their company's not going to approve of, and they're going to have a problem. And number 2 is they say, hey, who has the time? I've got 3 kids at home. I play in a sports league. I've got a job here. I've got too much to do to worry about finding good content to share. So do it for them. Help them grow their reach and give them content that, number 1, is approved by your company. So now they feel totally comfortable sharing it. Not only that, maybe even reward them for sharing it. That reward can be something as simple as a leaderboard. I don't know about you, but when there's a leaderboard, I need to be number 1. I have to be. So I will fight to hold on to that spot. Reward them with gifts. Reward them with trips. Reward them by just walking in and saying, hey, thanks for sharing that. The same way you reward your followers in any kind of a social channel by making them feel good that you're actually paying attention. These are things that will help your company grow and expand. Now, the second part of that is give them good content so that they feel good about it. But really important, don't just share content about your company. Don't just share things that you want people to share. Share stuff about things they're interested in, whether it be sports, whether it be education, whether it be retirement benefits, whether it be any kind of a topic that is somewhat relatable to them, not necessarily what you're trying to sell, and then feed in other content about yourself. These are ways that you're going to help them do both those things. You're going to make them better, and you're going to expand the reach of your company. A brand will become critically important to an employee if they invest their own personal brand and time in it. Now, tomorrow is National Employee Appreciation Day. What better time than to let your employees know how much you value them and then bring them into the fold. Let them know that their brand is tied to your brand. Let them know that you value the fact that they're taking time in the day, whether it's to add Twitter followers, to engage with people on Facebook, to syndicate content through Instagram, to post something on Pinterest. That's about their lives, not necessarily about your company. Think about it this way. Find an employee in your company, someone else that's a coworker who doesn't like you. Okay? You know they don't like you. You can feel it. They've even said it to you. Bring them a cup of coffee every morning for the next 2 weeks. And I guarantee you, they will have to reciprocate. They will feel compelled to do it, even if they don't like you. Now, imagine if you have employees that actually like working at your company and you do for them, how much they're going to be willing to do for you. And then have them invest their time. Give them a point of the day where they're able to do things that expand their brand. Make it part of their job even. Now, I know every company can't do this. I know every employee segment can't do this. It all depends on what department you're in. But let's talk about the marketing department. Why wouldn't you want the marketing department understanding marketing platforms? If I hear one more person with a title of director, manager, even VP of social media say to me, I don't do Twitter. You don't do Twitter, but you're buying ads on Twitter. You're trying to add Twitter followers to your company's thing, but you don't do it yourself. What kind of sense does that make? What senior executive would ever authorize dollars spent on a TV commercial without watching that commercial? Probably, I'd say 98% of them even watch the show the commercial's put on so they can understand the context. We all have to start using these platforms, and we need to start encouraging, maybe even requiring to a certain degree. I like to say that a brand is what a business or a person does. A reputation is what people remember. And building a reputation is very different than getting out your branded message, than talking about what your brand is about. First of all, your brand is about what a consumer believes it's about, not what you decide in your boardroom or in your brainstorming sessions or anywhere else. It's what people discuss, what people share, what they talk about. It's about what your employees talk about. You can tell your employees all day long that this is our mantra, this is what we talk about, this is the corporate ideals. But if they don't live those ideals, if they don't believe in them, if you don't support them the same way you're telling them to support your consumers, then they're not going to be a part of that. And when I say a brand is what you do, a reputation is what people remember, it's about making an effort. I like to give out my phone number. I'll give it out right now, 516-270-5511. I can do that all day long because nobody is going to call me. Why? Because most of you guys are afraid of using the phone. But what's going to happen is a good percentage of people in the audience are going to tweet out, Ted Rubin just gave out his phone number on a webinar that 1 million people are listening to. And he gave out his real phone number. And what that does, that enhances my reputation. That tells people that I'm willing to make myself available. And what happens is people become a part of that by participating what I call vicariously. So somebody might call me. Eric might call me. He might even post, hey, I called Ted, he picked up the phone. Maybe a tiny percentage of people call me, but then they'll share that they actually got me. And everybody else will say, hey, if I called Ted, he'd probably pick up my phone call. He did it like everybody else. It's like winning the lottery. Most people don't win it. Most people never do it, but they keep buying those tickets because they think that could be me. And this is the way most companies' messages spread. It's how people feel engaged. And, people are now, I think we all know this, that people believe messages and advice from their friends much more than companies. So what are we all looking to do? We're all looking at consumer advocacy. Wow, consumer advocacy is great. Let's get reviews. Let's get people sharing. Let's get people talking to each other. It's not just the day when they went to the PTA meeting or to their sports game or the Little League. Now they're sharing it via social. Well, what about your employees? I can't believe how overlooked this segment is. These are people that are invested in the brand. They come to work every single day. They want to love their company. And imagine if you were doing things for them, how much they're going to share. And think about how that's going to scale. And people also feel good about that. I don't know about you, but when I have a friend that works at a company, I feel connected. I feel like everyone wants to know a guy. Everyone wants to know somebody. So I hear a lot of people say nobody wants to be friends with a brand. But you know what everyone wants to be friends with? Someone who's at a brand. Somebody who is the voice or the face or the persona of that brand. To me, this is incredibly valuable, really, really important. But it's not just about taking a company like Dynamic Signal, getting their platform that does everything for you, from compliance to content to helping you share to measuring it, because that's only one part of the equation. What's the most important other part? That's the technical side. That's the easy side. You can get them. They're the best platform in the business by far. Yes, I'm a little prejudiced. I'm on their advisory board and have been for over a year, but there's a reason for that. Every one of these employee advocacy companies wanted me to join them. And I did my research. I met these guys. I saw the technology they had, and I said, this is the company that I want to be a part of. But without the people, it doesn't matter. So I like to say that ROI is simple dollars and cents. But ROR, return on relationship, is about people. And there's no better return on relationship that you're ever going to get than with your own employees. Because, by the way, it goes way beyond just sharing content. It goes to how hard they work, what they do, how their attendance at work, how they recruit other people, how hard they work at the company, what they talk about. And the amount of sharing they do will be enhanced if you help them build their brand and give them the tools to do it. So many companies, or even employees, or people with their personal brands, they wait and wait and wait to do something because they're looking for the perfect strategy. It's not about the perfect strategy. Real trumps perfect every time. And you want to know why? Because real creates trust. And what does trust create? Trust creates loyalty. What does loyalty lead to? Loyalty leads to advocacy, whether it's for consumers or your employees. It's so important. Jump in. Start communicating. Don't worry about the perfect strategy. It's going to evolve. I mean, if you do it right, marketing today is not static the way it used to be. So all of you guys in the audience that work for marketing teams, think about what this used to be like just a few years ago. Okay, Q4 would come. The CMO would call together his minions. He'd say, let's put together our plan for the next year. You guys would take last year's plan. You'd probably base the plan almost 95% on last year. You'll shave out a few percentage points here for a new initiative, for something new. You might shift from 10% here to 11% here and change around the mix. You deliver it to the CMO. He gets it approved before Christmas. Everybody takes 2 to 3 weeks off. You come back and you execute for the rest of the year, and the CMO hits the road and starts talking about the company around. But that's not the way it works anymore. And the reason companies don't want to jump into this space is because it's hard work. Now you make up a plan, and guess what? If you're doing it right, you're going to be evolving and changing that plan every month. And who better to be a major part of that, whether it be input, sharing, discussion, conversation, than your employees? Now, here's a real problem. Most employees are afraid to speak their mind. And I'm not talking about just sharing content or basic employee advocacy. I'm talking about creativity and innovation. So we have to start a revolution in our workplaces. We have to start telling our employers, I want to doodle. I want to daydream. I want to actually think. How many of you actually take time during the day to think? I'm going to give you guys a test if you work in a big office. Go in your office one day, sit at your desk just like this, and stare straight ahead. See how long it takes for somebody to come up and ask you, are you okay? And you're going to go, yeah. They're going to say, what are you doing? You're going to say, I'm thinking. They're going to go, thinking? What are you thinking about? I'm just thinking. Nobody takes time to think anymore. Nobody has time. Everyone's afraid to raise their hand and say, that's a bad idea. Or I have a great idea. Think about your brainstorming sessions. There's 2 people that give ideas and everybody else keeps their mouth shut. We all have to start thinking more like kids and creating a mindset that allows us to come up with great ideas again. So think about this. Any of you guys have young kids, or did you have one kids at one time? You ever go to a children's museum? So I'm a divorced dad. And I belong to the local children's museum because whenever it was a day that was slow and I didn't know what to do, I took my kids and I brought them there. And there was all these things to keep them motivated and innovative. And we take our kids, we take the creativity out, we smack it out of them. Don't talk that way. Use an inside voice. Make sure you're a big boy. We're sitting here with adults. Speak like an adult. Why should a child speak like an adult? Why should an employee not be able to think that way? So think about the blocks table, my favorite place. Next time you're there, or just go to a children's museum, pay to go in, and watch the kids around the blocks table. This is how you want your employees behaving. They sit there and they come up with ideas and they work with each other and they put up blocks. And I see kids trying to build a bridge without any support. The block falls. Nobody says you're an idiot. They say, let's try again. How many people here ever tried to dig to China at the beach? Every time I was at the beach as a kid, I would try to dig to China. And my parents let me. And I have to tell you that even though it obviously never happened, every time there I expected a Chinese head at some point to pop up. What happens now? I've been to the beach recently. I watched the parents. Johnny, why are you trying to dig to the beach? Do you realize it's X million miles to the other side? You're never going to get there. Really? Is that the way you want your child to think? Is that the way you want your employees to think? We've got to start empowering them to think creatively and to know that their opinions are valued. That there is no such thing as a stupid idea. There's a such thing as not giving ideas. These are things we have to start stressing in the workplace. Now, here's another thought. All of you guys have heard this every day. Your agencies tell you you need more people commenting. You have to maybe get your employees in there and commenting, and you've got to get more people participating in your social channels. Here's what I like to say. If I was doing a slideshow right now, the slide you'd be seeing is a picture of a fly on the wall. Everybody knows the expression, the proverbial fly on the wall. I wish I could be a fly on a wall in that meeting so I could know what's going on. Well, guess what? Every person today who's on social channels is inviting you into their living rooms. And you're not going. It's unbelievable. You're worried about how many people are coming to your Facebook page rather than simply going to their pages. How about doing that with your employees? How about being a manager who actually knows what your employees did for the week? And if they posted it on social channels, then you're not interfering in their life. They want you to see it. There is no more line between personal and business. People want to know who they work with, who they're buying from, who they're dealing with. Start treating your employees like a family, like friends. So I like to say that a network gives you reach, but a community gives you power. When you build a community within your company, when your employees become a part of that team and that sharing and that thought process, you win. You cannot lose in a situation like that. It's remarkable. When someone asks me, what's the ROI of social? I ask them, what's the ROI of trust? And what's the ROI of loyalty? It's no different with your employees than consumers. You know, I see that social has finally caught on, and we've recognized the fact that every company knows to a certain degree that they've got to engage with their consumers. They've got to build relationships. They may not be doing it, but there's somebody somewhere in the company talking about that. What I've seen is it hasn't taken the jump to employees because everyone just takes them for granted. They think, well, they work here. That's what they're supposed to do. But you need to start valuing them even more than you value your consumers. Because when you show them trust and loyalty, they will show it back to you. Now, there's really nice, easy ways to do that. You value them. You share their content. You know, I tell companies this all the time. They're not doing this enough either. Go share your consumers' content. Don't just share when they share something about you. Share something they shared about their family, about a topic that's interesting to them. They will notice that. But think about how easy it would be to do that with the employees, to go to their social profiles and support them, to share what they're sharing. I was having that discussion with Dynamic Signal today, and they said, listen, we've been so focused on our product that now we want to start focusing more on the people we're working with and some of our employees themselves. And how can we share your content more? What can we do to show people that we value what you're talking about, even when it has nothing to do with our company? It's about engaging and making a connection. So here's a great tip I'm going to give you guys. So guys, I want to show you something. Anybody know what this is called? It's a smartphone, right? Okay, anybody have a smartphone? It's an iPhone. What's the biggest word in iPhone? No, don't say I. I know all you guys are saying I. It's not about you. Well, it's really remarkable. Everyone has these things. You guys all have apps on your phone, right? Well, this thing comes pre-installed with an app. They all do, that most of you guys don't even know exists. It's 10 digits, 0 to 9. And if you press 7 to 10 of them, you can actually hear somebody's voice. It's remarkable. You don't have to use emoticons to express emotion. You can yell, you can scream, you can laugh, and they know exactly what you're feeling. So I'm going to give you guys a challenge. Pick up the phone every day and call someone you haven't spoken to in a while and just say, hi, how's your day? Is there anything I can do for you today? And if they want to talk, talk. If they don't, make it easy for them. Say, hey, just call to say hello. Do it with your employees, do it with your friends. Give your mom a break if you haven't spoken to her in a while. I assure you, it will make a remarkable difference in relationship building, because one of the most overlooked things in companies is building relationships. I talk about return on relationship. What better return can you get than the people you're spending 8 to 12 hours a day, maybe even more. If you guys work in startups or advertising agencies, you might be putting in 16, 18 hours a day. Get to know these people. Go to their Facebook pages. Know something about them. There's absolutely no excuse in this day and age to not know what these people are doing, to not care about them, to not know about the events happening in their lives. It's all there. If one more person links up with me on LinkedIn and then sends me an email and says, so what do you do? Seriously? They're not even taking the time to read it. You guys got to start stepping out, getting to know the people that are around you. And now let's take it to another degree. How many of you guys work in companies where either there are offices all over the world or the majority of your employees work remotely? So start looking people in the eye digitally. What does that mean? It means calling them by name on social channels. It means answering their tweets by their names. It means mentioning something about where they live. It means really getting to know them. It's so important. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the best social media book ever written. It wasn't written by me, and probably not by any of the social media pundits that you think I'm going to mention. The clue I'm going to give you was written in 1936, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And it's more relevant today than it was when it was written, when there were only 100 people in your community that you could possibly meet. Now you can meet thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. But how do you do it right? Dale Carnegie likes to say, call everybody by name. There's no word in any language that someone likes better than the sound of their own name. Make it a habit of doing that digitally. I don't care if it's an employee you work with all the time. When they send you an email, reply to them and use their name in the email. Dale, thanks so much for sending that note. Don't just say thanks. I know you're busy, and it takes a few more seconds to add someone's name to it, or to make a remark about the day, or to say, make it a great day, or how was your weekend, or ask a question. But make an effort to do this. I guarantee you, you will see results. It will make a difference. So something I've started calling employee advocacy is loyalty marketing from within. We all have heard of loyalty marketing. We all want to keep our customers loyal, but what about our employees? So to me, that's loyalty marketing from within. Companies like Hitachi and IBM have increased social sharing by 700% using employee advocacy platforms. I think specifically using the employee advocacy platform from Dynamic Signal. I mean, it's remarkable when you think about it. 700 or 800%. And that's only with a small group of their employees. It's expanding every day. And more employees are recognizing the value of being trained how to use it, are understanding social media platforms because, number one, Hitachi and IBM are training them, and number two, because the more and more we get ingrained in our society using these platforms, the more comfortable we all become with them. VMware and Intercall have increased event registration by 30%, simply by doing what? Empowering their employees to share. It's just not that complicated. Companies like Salesforce and others are using employee advocacy for social selling. I was just speaking at a Cox event for Cox Business, and their entire sales force, 400 plus people, are focused on how can they use social platforms to increase their performance, to enhance what they're doing, to help their company grow. It's something that everybody should be doing. And to me, I like to say that some of the most important things are common sense. The problem, and I hear this all the time, Ted, what you're talking about just is common sense. Why are you telling us this? Because common sense is not that common. You know, it's been great to be here. I'm so excited to be able to talk to an audience like this, to be able to share my thinking. I just want to leave you with a couple of final thoughts. Everybody here has to recognize that this is the age of influence, where everybody can build a brand, affect change, advocate what they believe in, and make a difference without ever leaving their bedroom. Now, I'm not advocating never leaving your bedroom, but the point is you used to have money to travel. You used to have money to attend events. Even going to a meetup costs something. You have to pay for the transportation. Now you can be doing this around the clock. It's what keeps me awake at night. I can't sleep because I know that every extra hour I stay up, I'm connecting with more and more people and actually building relationships. And yes, look, I'm very fortunate. I travel around the world. I go to events. I go to different cities. I reach out wherever I am and I get to meet people face to face. But I have to tell you that half the time, by the time I meet them, we hug it out like we're old friends and we've never even met everybody face to face. So remember this, relationships are like muscle tissue. The more you engage them, the stronger and more valuable they become. Thank you very much and have a great day.